Welcome back, students of 5011, as the balloon say here. Welcome back to week 3, how to read and critique research. We're starting to delve into analyzing research reports. First few general comments about your work for week 2. You're starting to see the discussions taking shape and the participation interactions, and I hope you are excited about that. Like me, you discussed the transformative worldview, and I hope that you started to see how that may constitute a foundation for change of education and in education. And you also started to write research scenarios. I really encourage you to read posts of your colleagues in your groups and in other groups. There are some fine writing examples and ideas, and reading other reader scenarios will give you more and more sense about planning research in different formats, in different designs, and ideas about possible problems of research, and that will be very helpful going forward. I remind you as soon as possible to start thinking about a topic for future assignments. We are in week 3. In the end of week 5, you will need to submit your first assignment, in which you will need to critique a research paper, and maybe this research paper will be on topic that you're interested in. So think about that. And I also remind you that good writing starts with good reading. So which lead us to this week reading and discussion. So there are two main readings, Locke et al. and Anderson et al. So the Locke one is how to select and read research reports. Gives you a very good introduction and explanation about how to find and read and start to analyze papers and academic articles, and that will be helpful for your assignment with the Anderson paper. Few comments about what happened in the Locke paper. It is said that research reports are in the public domain. So yes and no. So yes, because they are published, but not completely, at least not for free, as many journals that publish papers. In order to get access to these journals, you need to be subscribed, and you can have this subscription either if you directly pay by your own money, or you are being affiliated to an institution that is subscribed. So for example, university, and you are students in a university, if the university is subscribed for a specific journal, so then you will have an access to this specific journal. And if you're looking for a specific paper, you need to hope that the university is subscribed for the time of the specific publication. In one point, Locke mentions 12 steps. So we do have the 12 steps in an attached documents on D2L, those 12 steps, both for the qualitative and for quantitative. They're separate steps, but they're very similar. And Locke also brings examples of using those 12 steps. In your assignment, in your discussion assignment, although I'm encouraging you and asking you to fill the whole 12 assignments, both for the qualitative and the quantitative, you need to share on the discussion only for steps 6 and 12. And we'll talk about it in a minute. I will just say that for step 6, instead of diagram or a flow chart, you just write a number list of steps in the study. So the paper that you will actually need to analyze is Anderson, titled Exploring Technique for Integrating Mobile Technology into Field-Based Environmental Education. So this paper is interesting, but as I see it, it's not totally clear, and there are points to critique it, and it's important because in steps 12 you need also give some your own critique. So I recommend to read, of course, the whole paper, but also pay attention to the abstract and read the abstract carefully because it gives a good overview of the paper. For your assignment, when you read and analyze, few recommendations. Pay attention that this is a mixed method study, so there are quantitative elements and there are qualitative elements, and you need to know how to discern which elements are qualitative and which are quantitative for your analysis. Pay attention that the qualitative quantitative parts have separated sections for methods and results, and this is helpful. Try to, you're doing reading comprehension, right? So try to mark for yourself for each paragraph what is the topic. Of course, the 12 steps from Locke are broader than what you've done in week 2 with your research scenario. And the assignment, you need to share only steps 6 and 12. Another interesting point with the Anderson paper, it says something there, whether a technology is inherently positive or negative. That might be a point that you can relate to and write about in your discussion in step 2, because it's kind of a philosophical question. Maybe you want to say something about it. One warning: there is a running head as part of the paper title, Exploring Techniques for Integrating Mobile Technology. So this is a running head, not a title. Just pay attention. One comment regarding statistics there's something talk about magnitude of when magnitude of significance is greater. So this is when the p-value is not bigger but smaller. You will see something about p-value. So when the p-value is smaller, the magnitude of significance is greater. And one more thing before going quickly through the 12 steps, sometimes some of the conclusions are actually integrated in the discussion, so that might be helpful for you. So the 12 steps are as follows. The first one, number 1, citation, is just an exact citation. Number 2, purpose and general rationale. There might be a specific sentence or paragraph in the paper that actually says that this is the purpose or the rationale. Number 3, fit and specific rationale. So this is a more focused a more particular rationale, it might say something about previous research or gaps in the literature, or the rationale is related to some gap in the literature. Number 4, participants. There is usually in papers there is designated section for participations under the method. One difference between the qualitative and the quantitative is here, that the qualitative analysis by Locke, there is a specific attention to the author, and that has to do with the fact that in qualitative research there is more attention to who is the author and his positionality, and whether the author has some effect on what's going on in the research. Number 5, context. This is mostly about where the study took place, the length, and some other important characteristics that you find. Number 6 is one of the steps that you need to share with your colleagues, steps in the sequence. So all the steps that are part of the study itself, not the lit review, okay, but those steps do include the analysis and conclusion. So you won't use, as I said before, a diagram or flowchart, but just numbered list, number 1, number 2, number 3. And again, you can take a look at the examples that Locke brings for qualitative and quantitative. Number 7, it's the data, which data was collected and how. Number 8, analysis. Here there is difference between quantitative and qualitative, that the quantitative will include statistics, right? Don't worry about statistical tests like the Kick, Square, and T. You don't need to know about that, but if it mentioned in the paper that there are statistical tests, so you need to write it down. Number 9, results can be directly from the findings or from the analysis. Conclusions are more general statements than the results. Number 10, conclusions. Number 9, as I said, directly from the findings on analysis. The conclusions are more general than just the results. They can, the conclusion can be like how what you have in the results relates to the purpose and the rationale in step 2. Number 11, cautions, limitations that the author of the paper mentions, like methodological problems with the research. And 12, again, a step that you need to share with your colleagues in the discussion is your own take, your own critical reflection on the report, what you find interesting, what you find fascinating, what you find inspiring, that you have to say. So, I wish you enjoyable reading and work, and I will see you on D12 in your discussions. Bye bye.